morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way, that this is a very special day.
A very special day it is. It's a wonderful Wednesday. That means my partner in crime, my co-host this morning, is Bradley Gilbert from Walmart. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Becky.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
In the house today, we do have our Education Wednesday. We have Eastern School Corporation. We have our principal. We have to set up straight. We have Darin Farris with us. Good morning, Darin.
Good morning.
And our athletic director, AD, we have Sean Smith with us. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
Sean, I'm going to get you into that microphone. Come on, pull it closer.
Good morning.
Sean, you're not going to get out of this, okay? That's why we put you in the middle to make sure you couldn't run, you know? So, good morning to you. So,
Good morning.
kind of a busy season for you guys, so we're going to find out all about that. But, Brad, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
All right, we've got Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Mama Rose's Fox Philly Wealth Management, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Marshall Monuments, and McAllister Land Consulting.
Yay, thank you to our great sponsors. Also want to kind of come up and remind everybody on the 26th, there'll be the Halloween Boo Bash, and save the date. It'll be at the Stevens Museum. Bring the kids, come trick or treat, and it'll be from 5 to 6:15 p.m. Please save the date, and if you want more information, you can call 812-620-7271. Also, at the Speedway is the big Halloween 200. And that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's family friendly, and it's a Halloween feature. They'll be trick or treating on Friday, and they're going to actually have a like a truck that you can bring if you want to help for the hurricane. And you don't have to go if you're not going to go to the race. It's on the outskirts, so you don't have to go to the race. You can still donate if you want to, waters or diapers or whatever, cleaning supplies, whatever. I'm sure they'd be very grateful for everything. So that is coming up. And then also next Tuesday I have my political forum, which is not a debate, it's a forum, and we have a lot of good candidates running, a lot of city, county, state, and all around. So so that'll be exciting. So
It's always a good time.
Yeah, definitely. So that's Tuesday night, and that'll be up at the courthouse. So we usually have it at the City Hall, which the mayor's always generous about that, but we decided to try something different and tried it up at the courthouse. So kind of fun.
Good time.
I know, kind of neat to go back to the courthouse for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Brad, anything going on at Walmart over there?
Well, there's a lot of things going on at Walmart,
Okay.
actually. 2 days ago, Monday, was our 8-year anniversary of us actually taking possession of the store to finish out getting everything, shelves put up, stuff stocked and everything, because next month is our 8-year anniversary of our grand opening. So we've been kind of excited about that. Doesn't seem like 8 years, but it's been a great 8 years. Last Saturday we had our fall Jeep UTV ATV ride, and so that was thank you to everybody that went out in the community, and all of that, 100% of that goes to Riley. So we're very proud of that. We raised like $4,000 for
That's
Riley,
awesome.
so for that one event, so that's great. Also, the associates, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, we just finished up our associate engagement survey, which is the associates giving themselves and their store a score, and then we also get scored on community involvement. And on a scale of 1 to 100, Salem is a 90, so highest in the
We
region,
knew that.
top 10 in the entire company in the U.S. of almost 5,000 super centers, so we're celebrating that, so that's great. So just a lot of good things, and we're gearing up. We've got Halloween, we've still got candy, we've got costumes, everything. Our fall is in high gear with all of our apparel and everything. We got all your game time stuff going on for your Sunday viewing programs, Friday night football, everything. So we've got that, and we got Christmas going on, so a lot going on. A week from today, we're going to have another one of our pre-event sales, so be looking for that. So
It started. It is the season.
It is the season, yeah.
I get excited about that for
Yep.
sure.
So.
Well, I do want to say that on my memories, it went back, and it was when I first walked in, and there was like they were setting things up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like bare.
You were one of the first ones.
Yes.
Other than us Walmart people, you were the first one in town that got to go in with the hired hat.
Exactly.
And got the tour and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was even before we took possession. So how cool was that?
And it's funny, my statement is, because this was 8 years ago, it said, I said, hey, Brad, what's going on over there? And you said, hey, come on over and see.
Yeah.
And of course, I walked across there and wow.
Yeah,
and boy, how it's like grown and how much it's
yeah.
done for the community,
great
and how much everybody loves our Walmart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great.
We're very proud.
Thank you for that update. All right, let's check in and see what's going on with the school corporation. And first of all, let's talk to our principal. So, Darin, I think I know one time Brad and I got the opportunity to come and have some coffee at the coffee.
We did.
Is that still going strong?
Yep, still going strong. Kids are still running the coffee shop or the Musketeer Cafe.
Musketeer Cafe. Yeah.
It's usually got a large line waiting for coffee or other drinks. We've kind of expanded it a little bit and added some room on to the original little coffee area. So business is booming and kids are doing a good job with it. So it's a good thing in our school.
Yeah. What do they do with the proceeds that they make off of that?
They buy supplies with
That's
a
what
lot
I
of
wondered
that.
if it goes back into that,
They also give what we call scholarships to the kids that work there in the coffee shop when they graduate. So, you know, some of that money's coming back to the kids as scholarships. So the kids really like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it seems like we get more kids that want to do it. I think it's because of the scholarships, but they also have a period where they can do something that's a little bit different. And I think that's, you know, a couple reasons why it's pretty successful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good addition to our school.
Right. Now, did you guys just get off of fall break?
We did last week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. How'd that go? And
well, Sean and I, we were both kind of busy. We had 3 home volleyball games that week and a football game on Friday night.
Who's the athletic director over there? Who's scheduling all this stuff, right?
You were getting close to the sectional, so we had to get in games. And,
you put a game on Valentine's Day, and I know you're a guy. You always tell when there's a male athletic director. I'm sorry. when there's a game on Valentine's Day.
It's good. Anybody that's seen our volleyball team play knows that they're pretty good.
Oh, I know they
and they're
are,
fun to watch. So
yeah.
I didn't mind it. It got me out of the house for a few hours, and I got to watch some good volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball's always exciting. Yeah, you do have a good team too.
We do.
So,
we do.
so you actually had some games during the fall break.
Oh yeah,
so
3 home games.
3 home games.
So
that's great.
Yep.
Well, that's exciting. Well, for those that did go away or get back with actually a different routine. Can you tell a difference in the students now this week?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, some are ready to come back. Some wanted another week of fall break, and I always say after a break, it's kind of like you got to retrain the kids on. Okay, first period, here's what we're gonna do, and second period's the same way. And but after you get back for a day, it's like we never had a break.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a break, and you know, everybody needs it, even administrators and athletic directors and teachers. And,
absolutely.
Just to kind of recharge a little bit to get us through Thanksgiving and Christmas break.
Right. Is this the long haul? I can't remember. Is this the long haul before?
It's usually after Christmas
break. That's when it's
January,
kind of like,
February.
When there's really just like no sunshine, and no sunshine when I'm. No, I know that. No, that's a struggle bus for everybody.
It
is.
So, this year for the holiday does Joe Smith's class, are they making like things? Did they do ornaments and stuff last year?
I don't remember if they did it last year. I know that Laura Temple's art classes have done that in the past. But speaking of Joe Smith and his manufacturing, if you need something made, they'll make it for you.
Well, that was
Yeah, he did.
He made Becky a wonderful thing. The class made Becky after we had been down there for a coffee club thing, and gave it to Becky as a gift. And I'll tell you, it was amazing. It was just really amazing.
He said, we talked about it a little bit, but you know how like you just think, and it was just so awesome. I mean, you talk about a man of his word. I mean, he said something about it, and then next thing I know, that's pretty awesome.
His class does a lot for our school. I know he's making signs for the volleyball sectional that we'll host this week, and done a lot of stuff for athletics. I'll let Sean talk about that later, but that class does a lot. If I need something, I'll go to Joe and say, hey, can you guys do this? Yep, give us a day or so, and we'll create a sample and bring it to you, and if you like it, then we'll do a final product. And the kids are really, some of the kids are taking some ownership in that class, and they'll volunteer to do anything. If he says we need 500 t-shirts made, then they'll jump right in and help make 500 t-shirts. So it's another good program that we have over there, and we've expanded that over the last couple of years, and the kids enjoy taking those types of classes.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the t-shirts, because I couldn't remember if you were doing t-shirts. So you're doing t-shirts now.
Yes, yeah, we've been doing t-shirts for 2 or 3 years probably. So
time flies.
Now we started out small.
Okay.
And it's grown.
Okay.
I know we have some groups and events that have come to us and needed 200, 300, 400 shirts, and 2 years ago it would have taken us a long time to make that many, but now that we've got the system down pat and we know what to do, it might take them a week or two to get that many produced. So it's pretty cool to walk in there and see kids doing different jobs and working together, and the final products are usually top notch.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if the public was wanting some t-shirts made, this is a possibility just to see if
they could reach out to Joe, and I'm sure he could take care of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. That's one more great thing to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, that's revenue there that they can put back into the class.
Yeah, they have kind of their own little business in there, and over the last couple of years they've made some money, and that money's used to buy equipment and supplies and that type of thing. And if something breaks, Joe says, can you order this for me, and just take it out of the manufacturing account, and that's what we do. And it's worked pretty well for us.
It's a win-win right there.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
It is.
Oh, I'm glad to know that. All kinds of orders. And
Becky's thinking about a shirt right now.
I know, definitely. We love t-shirts, Brad.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you're thinking about them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've got that going on.
Yep.
And he's just doing all kinds of great things. And
He
then
is.
anything else new this year?
Oh, it's hard to remember everything that we've been trying to do. Of course, we have a new cafeteria this year.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's state-of-the-art cafeteria. If cafeterias can be state-of-the-art, but the food is excellent. I've seen more kids eat cafeteria food this year than I've seen the previous 12 years I've been at East Washington, and it's good to see that. And when kids are eating school food, it's pretty good food. And I eat there a lot. We have a salad bar every day that kids and teachers can have, and have a pizza bar, and then the normal, cafeteria food on the other side. And it's been a good addition to the school year. Kind of been waiting to use the cafeteria for about a year, but finally we got everything in there, and all the equipment arrived and hooked up, and we're eating lunch in there every day. We share it with the middle school. They have 2 lunches, we have 2 lunches, so for about 3 or 4 hours during the day, that place is pretty popular, pretty busy. So it's been a good addition.
A pizza bar and a salad bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. And it's not just, hey, here's pepperoni pizza.
Why do you work at Eastern School Corporation? For the food.
Well,
Whatever brings us, right?
That's right. That's right. And they have a variety of pizzas each day. Like one day it might be pepperoni, and the next day it might be a buffalo chicken pizza. It's pretty interesting to see what's on the menu each day.
Describe the cafeteria though. Like, do you kind of explain it a little bit?
Well, I mean, it's kind of that open concept. The normal cafeteria tables and chairs. Serving line's a little bit different. Kids can go to one line for the pizza and that type of thing, and then go to the other line for the normal school lunch. And then the salad bar is kind of in front of the two serving lines. And then there's a couple of different cashiers that, kids go type in their numbers, they come through with their food. We have a little drink station where we have waters and lemonades and that type of thing that it's pretty popular. Kids love the lemonade. I always try to get some during second lunch, and it's always gone by the time I get over there. So
you have to start going first lunch.
I told them they need to put 4 or 5 of those things of lemonade out there. But yeah, it's pretty popular. Not many kids bring their lunch anymore, and of course all of our kids have free lunch. So
isn't that a blessing?
Yes, it is.
I'm so happy to
Absolutely.
see children. I mean, that is such a that's a huge blessing.
Yeah, it's a good thing for our kids.
Well, it's hard to do, schoolwork, and if you're hungry, and and what a blessing that if we can do that. That's one good thing we can do. So that's a huge blessing for Easter.
It sure is.
Great to hear that. Yeah, for sure. Well, and I'm glad to hear. I know it took a little while in the cafeteria, but
it did.
But a lot of times things like that, we know construction, like that takes a little while. But
well, we started the planning process after COVID or during COVID, and getting equipment and supplies, how long that takes now, and that kind of set us back a little bit. But everything's here and we're using it. And I remember last year the kids would ask me, when are we going to get to eat in that new cafeteria? And I'm like, well, hopefully in August of next school year. And it happened, and I think they like walking into a brand new cafeteria each day, and it's a little loud in there. We got to do something with the echo in there, but that means the kids are talking, and the state came out with a new law about cell phones not being in the classroom, and we kind of changed our policy and just said, cell phones are going to stay in your locker from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and I've noticed at lunchtime kids are actually talking to each other now, and that's good to see. Yeah. In the past, when we have allowed cell phones in the cafeteria at lunch, there wasn't a lot of kids talking to each other. Sure. And I believe kids need to talk and interact, and seeing a lot of that this year. So that's a good thing.
Right. Got to go back to the old-fashioned way of writing notes, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Passing notes.
Yeah. But that's really good, because you think about it, kids have lost the art of being social other than on technology.
Right.
So
yeah,
I think that's great.
Yeah, our lunches. We go back to our years. I mean, they were loud. That was the time you got to, just let it go. You had to do all the visiting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to be said every day.
Yes. Yeah. Every day.
Every day. Yeah, well, I love that, and congratulations on that. And then, of course, where are we at with the greenhouse? Is it right now? Are we in between, or?
I'm sure I haven't been down there in a while, but I'm sure they're getting ready to grow something.
Oh, they're always growing something, right?
Yeah, they are.
What's growing?
They have been growing some lettuce, and we've been using some of that in our cafeteria for the salad bar.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But I don't know what Mr. Elgin's getting ready to grow. I'm sure if I walk down there when I return to school, there'll be something growing. So he does a good job with that. And he told me over break he took a team or two to I think it was the state soil judging competition.
Love that.
I think we finished maybe 7th out of 60 teams.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
It didn't qualify for the national competition, but if you can finish 7th out of the entire state out of 60 teams, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
Very good.
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You have a really good, your ag department's really good.
It is. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, I love the soil. I mean, you think about that. I mean, that's something you use all around. I mean, you learn, like, just right now, like, our soil and learn what grows. And, I mean, these are basic things that, like, we didn't have years ago, you know, to know.
And that's the thing that Todd, has told me. You do a competition in southern Indiana, and then you go to northern Indiana.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different up
Huge
there.
Huge difference, yeah.
And, you got to prepare the kids, and, hopefully they do their best. And he's done that for many, many years with the ag program, and, it's kind of like the old sports saying, we don't rebuild, we just reload with our FFA program, and I give all the credit to Todd Elgin. He's like a coach, and kids respect him, and he knows his stuff. So I got to give him a lot of compliments on what he does for our school. Sure.
Sean, you've been quiet too long. Okay, it's time to get with Sean here. Sean, tell us a little bit about, first of all, your journey of coming to Eastern and how it came about. Tell us a little about yourself, though.
Well, I don't know if I ever. My dad was a long-time athletic director at West Washington, so I knew what the job entailed and how demanding it is, and how much it takes away, from your family life at times and things like that. So that was a big factor in deciding if I wanted to pursue this job or not. But I really just kind of felt like, as I entertained the opportunity to come back to where I graduated, and knowing so many people there, and I've always watched Eastern from afar, and been excited when when we were able to do well, and always cheered for Eastern from afar, even when I was at Charlestown or West Washington. But the opportunity to come back, I kind of felt like it was a calling in a way. I really just kind of felt like I was kind of being pushed in that direction and pulled in that direction, if that makes sense. So I've always kind of, when I've made decisions, it's usually been kind of for me, it's kind of been a fateful type thing, or a feeling like this is where the good Lord wants me to go, and I really feel this way about coming back home.
Love that so much. Well, and then learning. I love that you had the mentor, and you saw your dad and knew, because I don't think people, we kind of talked a little bit before the show, I don't think people realize what all goes into an athletic director. I mean, it sounds glamorous, right? Oh, the AD, you know what I mean? To have that title, but there's really a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of scheduling, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot going on.
Yes, and I definitely, my dad was an excellent athletic director, and I got to see that, and things are definitely have changed a lot since he's been out of that field. But all I can say is my hat's off to all athletic directors. There's things that I guess I had an idea of, but then as I've got into this job, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't realize, and things that, like I said, stuff's changed a lot since whenever I was watching my dad do it. Obviously, some has changed for the better, technological advances that have made the job a little easier, but a lot of things have changed in the culture of sports and high school athletics too, that present some serious challenges too. But I definitely was very fortunate to have my dad as a mentor, and I lean on him at times, and I'll call him up and ask him what his thoughts are.
Love that.
And I'm very blessed to have him as my dad, and love him a lot.
You should, as you should. Yeah, we're a huge fan of him for sure, and when he cooks, look out.
Now that
do you have that same skill?
No,
okay.
I didn't pick that up.
Because I know you're
my
not
wife,
that.
My wife and kids. Anytime I've ever tried to cook, they usually laugh at me. So.
Okay. That's okay. You can't win them all. That's right. Well, I think with the athletic director, I think you brought up some good topics about as far as challenging. It seems like let's go back years ago. athletes or athletics was, that's kind of what you had. Now we're going against so many other things. There's so many other avenues. It's so challenging to get the children to come out for sports.
Yes, there's a lot of different variables that are impacting high school athletics or school education-based athletics, as the IHSA likes to refer to it as.
Which we love them.
And they are correct in that when you participate for your school, you're a student first, and then you're an athlete. And then there's so many important life lessons that you learn in that environment that you may or may not learn per se in like the club travel environment. And most importantly, it's you're part of that community. And so when you're playing for Eastern High School, you're playing for that community, and that's kind of being lost a little bit, I think, because of all those different things that are pulling kids in different directions. And playing a sport has become so demanding for parents too, because it's not easy. There's a lot of commitment for athletes as far as getting to practices, getting to games, the expenses of the sports, to where you're seeing kids not having those opportunities to play sometimes. And the days of the multi-sport athlete is kind of phasing out, because people feel that pressure to specialize and play one sport for whatever reason. But I personally value that and our whole family value the multi-sport experience. I learned so many great lessons in all the sports I played, and it's kind of been neat to come back to Eastern and reconnect with my coaches. I played basketball in college, and basketball was probably my number one sport, and I had tremendous coaches, and I love all of them in basketball, but I learned some tremendous lessons from my experiences in track and cross country and baseball from Coach Ingram. And so all those experiences of being a multi-sport athlete, impacted who I was when I went to college, and still today, I look back on those life lessons. So I think that's getting lost a little bit too, because the culture of sports now is you pick a sport at a really young age and you specialize in it because the goal is to get to college or to play professionally or things like that. And I've seen so many kids miss out on that high school community experience because they're chasing something a little bigger than their high school or community experience, I guess, in their mind. And then when it doesn't pan out, I have to wonder sometimes if they regret maybe not playing another sport or regret not investing as much in their community. That's just my personal reflection from all the things I've seen over the years.
I think you're 100% spot on. I think I know we've got travel this, travel that, everything's travel, everything's extra, and it does. And Brad and I talk about this all the time, that it's so nice to try the different sports, and, you're talking from basketball to cross country to running. Talk about the discipline that a runner has, and the mindset and the mentality is just like none other. And learning all that skill, plus basketball's great, and then of course we know now we got football. I mean, from soccer to track or whatever, and tennis. I mean, all of these other great sports that you never know might be an interest.
Absolutely. And at a school like Eastern,
volleyball.
At a school like Eastern, for us to be successful in our athletic programs, we need all of our kids playing multiple sports.
Sure.
We don't have at a bigger school, 4A school, you probably are forced to specialize. But at your 1As and 2As and even smaller 3As, you need your kids playing every season. Yeah. And you kind of mentioned cross country. I ran cross country for John Churchman, and you're right. That's a mental test as you get towards the end of your race. You're having to find something deeper inside of you to get you to the finish line. And when you're a kid, you don't realize that, but when you're later in life, for me, I realized it in college, playing college basketball, when coach would put us on the line and just run us forever, I would
go to my happy place. Go to your happy place.
I would go to my cross, I'd go to my cross country mindset.
Yeah.
And that would get me through. And they're just, all those sports can teach you different life lessons. Where I think if you just play one sport, you kind of you're kind of missing out on opportunities there to learn different things and find more out about yourself. So I really value that multi-sport athlete.
I do too. And I think, just like with Brad and Walmart, like a team, when you look at your team, no matter what team you're playing for or whatever part you're at, you're part of something, and you're going to have all these different personalities,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to have this at an early age, in high school or elementary or middle, whatever your sports you're doing. And then later on, whenever you graduate and you go on, let's say you even go over to Walmart, you're going to have a team, and you're going to have all these different personalities. You're going to have some that are going to be those shakers and movers. You're going to have some that, everybody does it different. And it's cool to learn it at an early age to respect and to how to find those differences and make them the best they, and how that can shine.
Absolutely.
With those differences.
Absolutely, and yes, and you're switching, if you
From
play
adult
one
to-
sport, then you kind of have potentially maybe the same coaches all the way through. You have the same teammates all the way through. By playing multiple sports, those things change each season. It challenges you to be more adaptable, because in life changes a lot. I mean, I'm an example. Like, I've had multiple coaching jobs, and now I'm an athletic director, and you're meeting new people, and I've enjoyed all that. I'm meeting new people, facing new challenges. I think sometimes when you get kind of set into one thing, you miss out on those opportunities to learn to be adaptable.
Right. I think, Brad, you were going to jump on the Walmart thing too.
Well, I think not just with us, with any type of, which we know not every child is going to have the opportunity to go to college. So there's ones that are going to have to go directly. But even ones that are in college, we have a lot of college kids that just work for us when they're not in school. And but I think from my perspective, from an HR perspective, kids that play sports, normally you almost can't teach people teaming as part of a profession. They're getting a paycheck, and their end game is themselves normally, in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But I think that's one thing that kids that come in to us, that we work around sports and things like that, because those kids understand the team mentality, and they understand of doing something other than for other people or for themselves and things like that. So I think anybody who sports teaches you a lot of great things. I do have a side note, though. You mentioned about the commitment from family and everything, and it is a commitment for your family, because during whatever season you go, well, Brad's not available Friday night because he's going to be here, or whatever during whatever. But I will say also, sports, if your kids try different things, it is always good, because you learn new things. Like, I had to go from being a baseball parent to a track parent, which there's nothing wrong with track, but that was something. I mean, I'm like, well, how do I do this? Because they're two completely different things, and then you're like, then you start going, oh, well, then you see the mentality, and you listen to the coaches talk about what they're trying to do, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just that's the fun part of it too. It's just like you get to learn something new along the way too.
Right. Well, and I think school is a time that you can do and try everything and see. As you're adult, as you become an adult, you don't always get the opportunity to play basketball. You don't always get the opportunity to play volleyball or football or whatever. It's hard. It's a little harder. Track is something, and running is something that you'll forever. That is your own individual. And I think most runners are always going to be a runner. Most runners will forever be a runner a lot of times, and I think that's awesome. But I think it also, though, it teaches the mentality. But there's so many. So I think the diversity of all the different sports teaching you, like Brad's saying, from the track and field to baseball to football. I mean, all of the different sports. And the coaches that are in your head, you learn something. I think that's so important. And I remember on teams, my mom would always say, you're always going to have those people in your life. It's how are you going to react to them? You know what I mean? Are you going to, I remember that always being said to me.
That's
so,
good.
yeah.
When I was coaching at West Washington, specifically football, I remember every year at the very last game, whether it was the first game of the sectional we would lose or the sectional championship and the season was over, I would always address the team, but then I would pull the seniors off to the side and just remind them that everything that they learned in football is going to help them for life. You learn how to handle success. You learn how to handle difficulties and losses in life, and you learn how to deal with your boss, with your coworkers, like Brad said, and I don't think kids think about that throughout the season or throughout their high school, what I would call career, until that coach or that mentor or whoever that is mentions that to them. And it's always cool to see kids come back and talk to you and see what kind of person they've turned out to be. And you think back and think maybe that sport that I coached them in had a little bit to do with where they're at now. And I'm a big believer in sports and extracurriculars in general. We talked about sports, but you look at band and you look at choir and you look at theater, and they're the same way. Matt and Veronica Lindley at our school, they're
rock stars.
I'm gonna say this, they coach our kids hard.
Oh, yeah.
And they are coaching them. They're teaching them how to be a better marching band member or a better theater member. And when those kids graduate, I know they come back and talk to Matt and Veronica, and they end up helping them after they graduate. So I'm a big believer in extracurriculars. I wish every kid would do something. I know sometimes it's out of that particular student's hands, whether it's transportation or they have a job that they have to do, after school. And I think extracurriculars are very, very important to the school and especially for the kids.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like you said, and they do such a great job. And they and they're very passionate about it. But they have that chemistry. They can motivate, but also they do it gentle enough that the kids fall in love with them.
They do.
I heard a story of one of the students going into Walmart, and they saw the Walmart had their bread for $1, the big loaves. They thought that was the coolest thing, you could get bread for $1. So they put it in the Lindley's mailbox. They gave them a loaf of bread. No, that's love. That is love. That is love. And to get a high school's dollar, even $1 from a high school student, you know what I mean? That's big.
Well, I think Darin, like what you were talking about, is those who coach, athletics directors, teach everything. You're not doing that to get the credit or to be able to say, hey, it's because you do it for the right reasons, but it's got to be a good feeling to have that person come back and say, all those times, I get it, because they have that, and you may never see that aha moment for that student, that former student, to where they're out in life and they go, I was prepared because, Mr. Farris prepared me for this or whatever. And I think, it's one of those things that if you could have them have that aha moment when they were right here, they would try everything. You just got to do your best and just know that what you're doing is making a difference. And you want that aha moment, even for every student that may not have those opportunities. And that is tough, I'm sure, at times to have to say, your heart goes out to the ones that, for whatever circumstance, don't have that opportunity, and you just, find something for them to be a part of.
We all know that individuals don't go into teaching to become rich. And I've got
wait, are you sure?
I've got a sign in my office that says we're not in it for the income, we're in it for the outcome.
Oh, I love that.
I talk about that every now and then with teachers, and I always kind of have a theme or a quote each year, and that was my quote a couple years ago, and I still believe that today, that you know, we didn't go into education to be millionaires. We did it because we want to help kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are many ways to help kids, whether it's in math or learning how to deal with a classmate that, you know, maybe isn't being real nice to them, or, you know, having a personality conflict with a teacher. Every day it's something different. And, you know, I don't think I've ever walked out of that building and said, I hope I helped that kid today. It's usually one or two or three or four kids that I've had to sit down and talk with about something. And, you know, there's never been a day where I've walked out and said, you know what, I didn't talk to any kids today. So it's, I don't know. Like I said, we didn't go in it to be rich. We did it to help kids.
Love that.
So.
Sean, you were going to say something.
Well, I have a couple things. One, the mentioning of the aha moment. That's one thing that's kind of been neat about coming back to Eastern. I hope that maybe I'm that aha moment for a few of the teachers that I now are my colleagues, but you know, that had me in school. And the very first day I was back, I talked about Mark Olish and how much I've appreciated him just over the years, like, you know, just seeing him, and he always took an interest in me. But when I was a student, he really took an interest in me and helped me realize that I could be a leader. And so I talked about him at the very first day, just how much of an impact he had on me. And I hope that to be that, you know, for some people, because Darin's right. You don't go into it for the money. You don't go into coaching for the money. You do it because you love kids, and you want to give back, and you want to help make a better world. And but you got to have those positives sometimes to help keep you going. You know, because it can be really challenging sometimes, and there's been plenty of times where you're like, can I do this anymore? Can I keep going?
Sure.
And then you have that moment where you run into a student or a player, and you realize that you maybe had an impact on them. Or the other day I had a former player who is coaching middle school at Silver Creek, and he messaged me about just how much I had an impact on him when I coached him at Charlestown, and I had no idea. I actually didn't realize I had that much of an impact on him. So that type of stuff keeps you going. But then I also wanted to talk about the Lindleys and the Musketeer Brigade.
Oh, yeah.
One of the first things that I noticed when I came back was their culture. They have an amazing culture, and a culture that all of us can look at and hopefully pull from if we want to build a program or you know, whatever when you're trying to bring people together. They work hard. They're very demanding, and they're out there coaching them up, and these kids were out there, and it's like 90 degrees on the parking lot pavement there, and just working hard. And then but then they have fun too. They come in and they do fun stuff, and it's just they're just like they have a family atmosphere there with each other, and they work hard, they have fun, and it's not just their little culture. They share that with the community. You know, they're supportive. We had our cross country invitational. They stopped what they were doing, and as our runners came by, they played the school song for them. I'm just so impressed with their culture, and what they bring to the table for our school. And it's something I think we all can try to emulate, because it's pretty awesome.
And they do spread that to the community, because you're talking about being hot on the parking lot, you know, Salem was having their band camp, and Eastern showed up and brought them all ice cream and everything to give them a quick break and all of that. And so there's things like that.
Just random.
That's a true testament to great culture. So
100%.
Yeah, I know that was just like such a surprise. Think about just out there working, and all of a sudden Eastern shows up with a bus load of kids, and then everybody. Talk about the networking, the meeting, the giving, I mean, this is contagious what the Lindleys are doing.
Well, I feel like they're such an asset to the community. They
grows and grows. Yeah.
they and their kids are so positive. I mean, we asked them if they wanted to, you know, we obviously have a fun and an exciting volleyball team to watch, but you know, I got to talking to Matt. I was like, hey, you all ever played at a volleyball game before? And of course, I got a lot of grief from some of the other ADs about it. But
I love that. Go Sean.
You know, I was like, why would you all be interested in playing? And Matt was like, my kids will play just about any time, any place, as long as we don't have a competition or we have something we're getting ready for. They love to play. And so I talked to Coach Lane about it, and she was a little, you know, it's not something that's been done before, so she was a little apprehensive at first. But after that first game, she was like, ask them if they play every game.
Aww,
because of the spirit and enthusiasm they bring. Energy is so important, and any way you can create it, positive energy, it does two things. One, it lifts you up, and it brings more out of you. Like having positive energy, and it's contagious, but it also muffles out the negativity. So like when there's negativity around, if everybody can really fight and be positive, and or if you have someone like the Musketeer Brigade can come bring some positive energy to your environment, it muffles that out. And they came, and those 2 games they played at were just amazing atmospheres for our girls to play in, and for them to show off what they can do, because they're pretty amazing. And I think it probably was fun for at least all of our folks. Now I heard the opponents weren't crazy about it, but
we don't worry. We just stay focused.
But it was something different that I think is showcased. You know, and our cheerleaders came and they were in the front row. They couldn't be on the court. They bring a lot of awesome positive energy as well, and that kind of gets, you know, got lost a little bit with the band, but Kelly's doing a great job with them, and they came and they couldn't go on the court because of it was in play, but they were in the front row, and just it was a great showcase of some really positive stuff going on at our school, and everybody was able to contribute, and again, it goes back to that it's a community. It's not just the volleyball team or just the band or just the cheer. It's a community effort when you're trying to build a winning culture.
Everybody working together. I love the idea of the cross country. I'm thinking, like, you know, in that last little bit when you're just giving it, and then all of a sudden you hear your school song. I mean, right?
100%.
You talk about kick it in, you know what I mean?
And you realize it's bigger than you. It's for your school. It's for your community. And that's the ultimate driver, I think, is when you realize that you're playing or working for something greater than yourself. And that's something that it gets lost a lot. But I think you learn through sports a lot of times.
Definitely. I love that.
While we're talking about our band, I do want to give them a shout out. They are going to be competing in this Scholastic State Championship this Saturday. I believe Salem is in it as well.
We are.
You know, we're the defending state champions, so we'll see what happens this Saturday. I know it's a tough thing to do to win something that big back-to-back years, but as Sean said, our kids are working hard. Matt and Veronica and their staff are working hard, and I know that's their goal is to go back and bring home another, you know, Scholastic State Champion trophy. It's always a goal that's your ultimate goal in sports and everything, is we're going to win a state championship. You may never do it, but that's got to be your goal. And you know, going into last year, I'm sure that was kind of their goal, but when our school was announced as first place, you know, you realize, hey, we've done something pretty big here. And once you do it, then it's always in the back of your mind, well, why can't we do it again? And you know, they're working hard, and you know, band's a little different than sports, because you look up at the end in most sports and you see a scoreboard that has points. You go to something like band and it's people critiquing how you perform, and you just never know. But I think it's pretty neat that we're sending 2 Washington County schools to the same state championship in band, and it'd be pretty cool if it came back 1 and 2, and I know Salem wants to be number 1, and we want to be number 1. But
I was interested in how you did. I didn't know how you.
Yeah.
I know, no, it's true. But the whole thing, just like we've seen the success of Eastern, we've seen the success of Salem, and it brings for our county, what I mean, because we are the Kentuckiana, Southern Indiana area, but it brings for our county, such representation.
Sure.
Because so it's a feather and cap for all of us.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It shows people across the state that those schools in Washington County are doing some good things.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling to have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's always good to bring home the big hardware and everything. But one thing that I think is impressive with you guys down there is Eastern's always in the conversation of top bands, regardless whether they're state champion
always
or not.
Been.
Always. And so it's difficult. You guys as coaches have seen that it's difficult once you get to a high level and then to keep it for years at a time. And I think that's something to be said. And it is a good point that there's not scoreboards, but and it's up to people. They're scoring you, but in a different way.
Right.
And you never maybe see that, or the kids don't see that, and there's nothing that they can go as they go, well, we've got this, we got this. But it is interesting to know that this county has consistently got that great, and they're doing great work down there. And to keep that top level that's difficult.
It is.
That's commitment. So.
It is.
I think Don. Go ahead.
I'll say that this is going to be a busy weekend for us. We're hosting the volleyball sectional tomorrow night and Saturday. We have the band state championship. We have the cross country sectional. So it's going to be a busy weekend, especially for us at Eastern. And I think in whatever event we're in, our kids are going to perform well and hopefully have some success. So.
Good time to be a musketeer.
Yeah.
And it's this way every year at this time. It's you got 3 events going on, and how am I going to go to this one and then go to that one, or am I going to be able to go to this one?
That's a good problem to have.
It is.
Right?
It is. We're probably going to divide and conquer this weekend. So
I don't want cross country to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
We have a young lady that's I think won like 5 major events this year. Katie Honor is a sophomore. She just won the Mid-Southern Conference, and so she's been on quite a roll, and I know that she and her teammates are excited about competing this weekend, and definitely excited for her and Coach Sue Shipman and Coach Brian LaRudd and their teammates. I mean, they work hard at it. The thing that about cross country, our band, a lot of this is the numbers aren't as big as they've been because our numbers as a school are, maybe not what they've been in the past 10 or 15 years, but they're getting the most out of it, and I noticed the sign there you had that don't wait for the perfect moment, take the moment, make it perfect. Well, those programs and kids are doing that. They're not waiting until they understand that this is their moment, and they're working hard for it and competing for it. So really proud of what they're accomplishing.
As you should be. And I'm sure as an athletic director and as the principal, to my joyous moment, it would be when the campus is just popping, when there's so much going on, you know what I mean? And just like Brad said, to have that problem, where could I go here, go there, go, being pulled in all the different directions, but how awesome, I think that's, your campus is beautiful. So, for people to come and see it and be a part and to showcase your children, the Eastern Musketeers, I mean, how awesome, is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we do have an amazing campus. And I didn't realize how, when I was a kid there, I didn't realize how expansive, our campus is. And of course, making some additions. They've had to clear out some area, for our football track area and practice football field. I didn't even know that. That was just woods, and I didn't even know we even owned that. It was kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing to come back and see that, and it's it's pretty cool to realize that this is a pretty big campus here, and we got a lot to offer.
For sure. So then this will be the last Friday night game as far as like the schedule for football.
Yeah, the last regular season.
Yeah, and then for the sectional, you drew Paoli. That's gonna be a
big challenge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Purple and gold in the house all around.
Love that.
Right?
That's why they call it a game. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's gonna be. I know they're tough, but
they got a good program.
But you guys got a great program too. So we'll see and. It's an exciting time for sure. And just it's crazy to think we're already there.
I know.
Yeah.
Time definitely flies.
That's for
sure.
I'll say this about Sean. Sean's a humble guy, and I've learned that over the past 4 or 5 months. Sean and then Leah Sterrett, who is our assistant athletic director, they're doing a wonderful job. I know when he stepped into this role and we hired him, like he said, he didn't know exactly what the job was going to consist of. And every day for Sean is a new day. Today is a new day for him, and as an athletic director, and he's really done a lot of great things, especially with social media and trying to build our athletic culture. Scott Newcomb was there for many years and did a great job, and Sean's just trying to add to what Scott had already established, and he's meeting with our athletes and talking about different things, and I miss Scott because I've worked with him for 12 years.
Yeah.
But bringing Sean in has caused me to look at things a little different as well, and sometimes you get into that rut, and having new energy kind of revives you, and bringing Sean on board has kind of done that for me.
Yeah.
I also have a new assistant principal, and Andrew Llewellyn. Luke Dean went to Salem, and I'm happy for Luke, and Luke and I worked well together, but Andrew's come in, and he's brought some good ideas to the table, and it's kind of a fresh year, a new year for me, where I thought, man, I'm going to have all these new people. I'm going to have to train them, and it's going to be the worst year ever. I've got 2 new counselors, and it's like, oh my. But it's been a good start to the year. It really has, and that's because of the people we have. Sean and I talk multiple times every day, and it might be about an upcoming event, or it might be about an issue that we have, or just to sit down and chit chat about Major League Baseball, just to have a 5-minute conversation about something else. And it's been good working with Sean. Of course, I got to work with his dad at West Washington, and Ron is an awesome dude. Every day he comes to a volleyball game, Ron and I talk for at least 5 minutes. And, Ron taught me a lot when I was over there as a young coach. And, I knew when we hired Sean, I thought, if he's as good as his dad, we've got a good hire right here. And I'm seeing that. And I know he's still, only a few months into it. But he and Leah have worked well together. And they kind of divide and conquer. Sean will take care of this, and Leah will take care of something else. And I'm sure he will say, if it wasn't for Leah, he may have already resigned by now, because it's a big job, and one person trying to do it, it's pretty challenging. And I always go up to him, what can I do tonight at this game? I think we've got everything covered, so I just wait till he says, can you help me with this? And I'm there to help him, and it's been a good change for everybody, and I know he's going to continue to grow as an athletic director, and push our kids to be better and to work harder, and he's a positive guy, and our world is so negative these days. To have positive energy every day, you know, it's just a good feeling. I think it was one of the first days he came into the school over the summer. We were having a conversation in the gym, and the girls' basketball team was walking out. And as they walked past him, he fist bumped every girls' basketball player, and I'm thinking, those girls are probably wondering, who in the heck is this guy fist bumping me? And but that kind of, it surprised me, but it was like, that's pretty cool. I don't do that enough to kids, and you know, seeing that was pretty inspirational, and I know the kids know who he is now, and they expect a fist bump from him.
Yeah.
And it's been a cool transition, and I know Scott has helped Sean transition over the summer, and I know Sean is very thankful for that. But it's been a good start to the school year, and you know, we're hoping this weekend we can, you know, win a volleyball sectional and a band state championship and cross country success. And I don't want to be greedy, but you know, I want our kids to do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, I think we have some opportunities in front of us, and you know, when kids can experience success, that just makes everybody happy. It changes the environment, and it's a big plus.
Well, success, I'm a big believer in success breeds success. So we've got to constantly be striving for that, and when we attain it, we got to celebrate those wins, and that's a big part of creating that energy that we talk about. I really greatly appreciate Darin. He is in my corner, and I really appreciate having him, the conversations we have, and working with him as well. And just very thankful for the opportunity to work with Darin and Andrew and Amber and all our administrative team are awesome. And he mentioned Scott, so Scott spent a ton of time with me this summer, and I am forever grateful because I was able to hit the ground running, because I was able to learn where everything was pretty much at. He gave me kind of blueprints per se of how to run events. I learned about EventLink, which is just, I don't know how ADs did it without EventLink. You know, Final Forms. He was so awesome this summer to help me hit the ground running, and I really, beside that, I appreciate Scott and Bev so much for what they gave to my alma mater. Being there over 25 years, if you think about it, that's a quarter of a century they gave to the East Washington School Corporation, and that should be celebrated, and I know it has, and I'm forever grateful for them for what they've given to our school. And then Darin mentioned Leah. Without Leah, he might be right. I don't know. Leah is such a hard worker, and she kind of already had a pulse on everything, and still is teaching me and leading me in ways that maybe things that I still don't know yet, and I'm so thankful to be able to work with her. And there's so many other awesome people that I'm forgetting to name or don't, you know, have, but there's so many people that there's no way one person could do any of these administrative jobs or coaching jobs. You've got to have, you know, the village per se. You've got to have that to help make this happen, and that's because it's a community, and we have to be willing.
Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Bill Bubba Bussey, and Rick Burgess.
We're back, baby. It is a brand new hour. We thank you for being with us as we get started. As you heard, the gang is all here for a brand new hour, and we will get to more of your phone calls before the show is done today. All right, so we talked about this, I think, a little bit in passing about these pandas. Early in the show, we said that were brought in, they look like in a FedEx truck. At one time, I thought China was mad at us, and they were saying, Hey, we're taking our pandas back.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I've seen a panda display. You know, we got a pretty good one, a strong
Have you
one.
ever seen one?
Over in Atlanta?
Live?
Not well, like at a zoo. I've never seen one.
I've never even seen one at the zoo.
Me neither. I'd kind of like to see one.
Atlanta, the zoo there has a very well-known, long-running panda program.
Oh.
And they participate big time. And
you participate in the panda program?
I guess partially.
Well, you've seen them when they're born. They're not this big when they're born. They're tiny.
Yeah.
So anyway, apparently we were wrong. And that China isn't taking our pandas away. Pandas can only stay in the United States for a certain period of time, and then China